All right, did I hit the wrong button? There we go. Alt-1, not Control-1 for you XSplit users. Alt-1 brings us to DirtyZenith. He is the bottom left player here, the teal Zerg in the bottom left corner of Cloud Kingdom. And up here in the top right, we have Seven.Sanddbox, who has just been on a roll already, taking 4 wins for his team, DirtyZenith, with the GLHF. He's got quite a lot on his plate here. He's got to win a ZVZ against Sandbox just to start, and then he's got to defeat 4 more Infinity 7 players if Team Metagaming is going to continue on into the round of 16.
Yeah, I don't know, man. 4 wins under your belt, I feel like you're so comfortable at that point. Sandbox, I mean, it's got to be really frustrating from DirtyZenith's spot. I mean, this is his first game, so he has no idea what Sandbox is thinking. Sandbox could go for anything. He could go for a very, very early aggressive build, or he could just kind of fall back and do his standard play that worked every single time. I mean, that's the one thing that's kind of it hurts for Zenith is not able to. He doesn't have all those wins. He doesn't have any more players behind him to fall back on. He is the last player from Metagaming.
Yep, Sandbox, looks like we may have had just a little bit of lag issue or something like that going on when they actually played, but now all is well. Sandbox is actually sending a drone scout over to the main of DirtyZenith. DirtyZenith did not do the same until just now. He's sending a drone out, but it looks like that's going to be his hatchery drone. Sandbox may be able to block this. I think that drone is actually sticking. Yeah, he sticks close enough there where he was able to keep a hatchery from being dropped, and now all he has to do is be super annoying, queue up some movement, head back to his main, do some macro or whatever. He's got his own hatchery coming up now, so just doing a good job of being quite annoying there against his opponent, DirtyZenith, not allowing him any space to get that hatch down. So DirtyZenith actually, as a result, is going to be dropping spawning pool first just before that hatch.
I feel like we're watching almost like a PVZ right now, just by the way Sandbox is blocking his opponent's hatchery, and there he goes. He does end up getting it down. So that's very nice by Sandbox. Something very small. I was wondering what he was going to do with that early drone. I was thinking, oh, maybe he's going to go for some sort of aggression here, but no, just something small like that. I mean, when you're a top tier player like Sandbox, those kind of things count. I mean, when you're playing in a game where somebody is equivalent to you at your macro and your micro, things like that can actually put you slightly over your opponent.
That's true. Any small advantage that you can eke out, if you can get several of them, you're going to end up with one big advantage. So Sandbox doing some nice play already in this game, headed back home with that drone that he did manage to keep alive, obviously. And I mean, DirtyZenith, honestly, if it's just that, it's not so horrible, but little things can add up. Right now, DirtyZenith, it looks like he did an extractor trick, actually, and got another drone squeezed out there, so that's pretty interesting. Actually, it looks like he was using that little extra supply for the queen, but now the Overlord's out, so all is back to normal.
Yeah, and like we were talking about the first game, those small little things tended to add up against Reap. I mean, Reap fell further and further and further behind, and then all of a sudden it's 2 base versus 3 base with a ton of supply. So, we'll have to, hopefully DirtyZenith is a little bit of a different story than his teammate Reap. But it looks like both hatcheries are just about finished. Looks like Zenith is finishing up and already dropping a spine crawler. This is kind of interesting. I'm not sure what he saw that made him feel a little bit under pressure, but he's not doing too much else. He's not building any extra Zerglings. He is getting speed right now, and just one queen. Oh, it looks like that's going to be a second queen on the low ground because of the timings are a little bit off. But I'm wondering what exactly set him off to build that spine crawler.
I don't know. Just better safe than sorry, maybe.
Your team's on the line.
Really, that is a good question, because Bubba was the aggressor in that last ZVZ, and I'm pretty sure Reap and Sandbox both just kind of constantly attacked each other in that first game. But maybe he's got a build in mind. He's gonna try and get up to lair quickly or something like that, and needs the extra defense. Might as well just get it out of the way now. But no additional tech actually out of DirtyZenith so far, whereas Sandbox does have the Baneling Nest coming up.
Oh, that's kind of interesting. I was going to say, from Metagame I've seen so far, they have very interesting building placement. Reap during the first game had his spawning pool, like the edge of his creep closest to his ramp. And I was going to say, oh, maybe Zenith as well, but no, it's Sandbox this time has his Baneling Nest out in the front. That might be maybe to eat some hits or maybe to help wall off a little bit, I'm not sure. But it's kind of interesting to see the different building placements. It really doesn't make that much of a difference.
So they're talking about he lives to poop another day, and Overlord must have just barely escaped death somewhere. I wonder if it's this This one from Dirty Zenith just below the natural, but he's got plenty of health, so I'm not sure what actually they were talking about. Either way, lots of Lings streaming into the natural. Wow, this is actually much faster than I expected out of Dirty Zenith, especially building that Spinecrawler like you said. So maybe this was the reason, so he could run in, start attacking these queens. Baneling goes off, not really much damage or anything. He built the Spinecrawler maybe to protect against... Oh, my mouse is flipping out.
No cancel on the Spinecrawler from Sandbox, so he did lose 150 minerals there. And it looks like Zenith's trying to go in and out. There's one Baneling here. If that goes off, that could do so much damage. But it looks like actually Zenith is pulling back, doing a great job. They're pretty even right now, just trading back and forth. There are 17 Zerglings on the field for Sandbox. He definitely has the advantage right now. And look at this transition from Zenith. Very nicely done. Roachwarren, another gas guy, +1 coming out, and a second Spinecrawler. So, I mean, this is very interesting from Zenith.
And I think I am just a couple seconds ahead of you, so if you don't want to speed up, I'm at 7:55 right now, but that's okay. We don't actually have a sync because, again, patch 1.5 is so awesome, but it looks like Sandbox is running in. He's using hold position on his Lings to actually just focus down those drones. All the drones piled up on the Vespene Geyser, and all the Lings from Sandbox just surrounded there and started chewing on him. So good job from Sandbox actually killing off a few drones. He's out of range of both Spinecrawlers right now. The second Spinecrawler just now getting planted in the ground, so the Queen was trying to do the bulk of the damage. Drones again just hugging that mineral, trying to stay away from the mean Zerglings, but man, he's killed a lot of workers. 8 workers killed by Sandbox. Dirty Zenith slightly behind, 52 drones to 40.
Yeah, and it looks like Sandbox is going to follow this up with a third base. He's getting a lair, and he's just kind of falling back, getting +1/1 for Roaches, and his Roach one is just started. What's funny is his +1 armor is halfway done, and his Roach one is just about done. So he might actually line something up here with his layer finishing. But it looks like both players are getting layer at the same time, and so both players are kind of opting to go for the Roach deck. I just wonder if Sandbox is going to try and deny the third base of Zenith for a good duration here.
Well, Zenith did just plant his third base down. Sandbox has planted his own, so this Overlord of Sandbox does have vision on Dirty Zenith's third, and he's got some Lings to try and slow this down, but after that big engagement, I'm not sure if Sandbox wants to use those last of his Lings. Actually, no, here he goes, right into the third, up the quadruple wide ramp there. 4 Roaches coming over to try and prevent this from happening, but the hatch, actually, there's enough damage there. He could get the cancel. There's the cancel, and the drone is picked off very quickly. Sandbox sacrificing just a couple of Lings to get that cancel off, and his own hatch over at his own third is up and running with lots of drones already there, happily mining away. Roaches, tons of Roaches, actually, for both players in that production queue right now.
Yep, and just like we were talking about, those little things are starting to add up. I mean, Sandbox denies the third. He has his third completed. He's already mining, and he's getting upgrades at the same time. So Sandbox just getting a little bit of advantage pushing forward. Resources lost after the engagement. He's up by about 300 resources, so nothing major. Drone count is actually, am I reading that right? 67 for Sandbox versus 46 for Zenith. Wow.
Yeah, only 9 workers killed, but I guess his macro is just a little bit harder anyway because he has 3 hatcheries up now. So Sandbox has eked out 20 drones more than his opponent. He's never got never got less than 9 Roaches in the production queue at a time. He's just constantly cranking out Roaches now, and we may see a situation like we saw in Ohana where he just gets a million billion Roaches and tries to go kill the guy. Dirty Zenith has arrived at the third base, and it looks like Sandbox is ready for it. He's got a decent concave, and even though Dirty Zenith is supplementing these forces, it looks like Sandbox with that 1-1 upgrade against 1-0 is actually making a pretty big difference. All these Roaches coming out now, all the larvae actually going to make a big difference from that third base, and Sandbox with just tons of Roaches still standing at the end of this.
Yep, and look at the supplies right now, 156 to 75. I feel like Dirty Zenith made a little bit of a mistake. We saw him actually drop a macro hatchery, and he had his third going up at the same time, along with teching for an infestation pit. So playing a little bit greedy there, trying to get a lot of tech and a lot of buildings up at the same time, whereas his opponent was just kind of building up a good army. And now look at the supplies, almost 100 above his opponent. I feel like Sandbox has a beautiful timing here. His 1-1 is done, of course, and he's getting +2 armor in just a moment here. I think Sandbox might be able to push through here pretty easily.
Yeah, but he is starting the march, and like you said, Dirty Zenith was playing a bit greedy, trying to do 3 things at once back at home, and still attacking in. That kind of bit him in the butt there. He did not have quite enough units, and obviously the third hatch just made a huge difference with the larva injects, being able to crank out Roaches during the fight. Also, the upgrade advantage is still on Sandbox's side, so this big Roach battle convening here at the natural of Dirty Zenith, it's just not even close. The Roaches are just crushing everything. Dirty Zenith, GG, and Infinity 7 Sandbox scores an all kill in the round of 32.